Jerry Jones, the master of negotiation in the NFL. Jerry Jones is at it again, engaging in a familiar dance of negotiation that has become his trademark. As the flamboyant and wealthiest general manager in the NFL, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys is always ready for the spotlight, no matter where it shines. His unique approach, combining tough talk with a soft touch during contract discussions, has become a source of amusement for many. This duality allows him to act both as a fierce negotiator and a sympathetic figure when it comes to player contracts. The current situation surrounding superstar defensive end Micah Parsons adds an intriguing layer to Jones's usual antics. Recently, he capitulated on Dak Prescott's massive $240 million contract, which included a staggering $231 million in guaranteed salary. While Parsons' lack of a new contract isn't an immediate crisis, Dallas's first loss of the season is still weeks away. Jones's comments suggest he is grappling with the NFL's ongoing reluctance to embrace guaranteed money. Parsons is eager for a new deal as his current contract is set to expire at the end of the season. He seeks a significant amount of guaranteed money, a request that is entirely reasonable given his status as the Cowboys' most dominant and influential player. In typical fashion, Jones is engaging in a game of negotiation that resembles wiffle ball hardball, a prelude to ultimately conceding, which he often does. However, this time feels different, as if one of the voices in his head is cautioning him against the pitfalls of guaranteed contracts. Moreover, the fact that Parsons is not a quarterback, unlike Prescott, has led Jones to draw a distinct line between their respective contracts. This distinction hints at a sense of regret over the previous deal and a concern that the next contract could tarnish his reputation among fellow owners regarding guaranteed money. Contracts typically span 4 to 5 years, right? There's a lot of history to consider if you make a move in the first couple of years, Jones remarked recently. You could face serious consequences. There's a lot to evaluate over the years that could significantly impact the situation. Have you ever heard of teams committing to players only for them to not meet expectations? We certainly have. I recall signing a player to the highest salary in his position, only for him to be sidelined for 2/3 of the season. That was Dak Prescott. So, there are many factors to consider, just as players do, when contemplating guaranteed money. Prescott's absence from the last 9 games due to a hamstring injury might understandably lead to some second-guessing. Yet, the situation is perplexing, especially since Jones previously indicated in March that he was on the same page as Parsons regarding the length and guaranteed money of a new contract. However, neither he nor his quieter son, Stephen, has communicated with Parsons' agent, David Mulligeta, since then. Consequently, any agreement they might have reached remains largely theoretical, especially as Parsons' peers, like T.J. Watt from Pittsburgh, Max Crosby from Las Vegas, and Myles Garrett from Cleveland, have all secured their contracts, setting a market standard that makes Parsons' situation feel more urgent than it did back in March. Jones's reasoning. Just because we sign him doesn't guarantee he'll stay healthy. He missed 6 games last year. Seriously. But is that really a valid concern? Parsons played in 13 out of 17 games, and anyone who struggles with basic subtraction might not be the best person to handle contracts. For Cowboys fans, deciphering the significance of Jones's statements can be a tricky endeavor. He is more renowned for his penchant for grandstanding than for his football acumen. His quest for another championship, one that would accompany the title he won with Jimmy Johnson 3 decades ago, has always been a crucial factor in his negotiations with players he deems essential. However, a deal is not finalized until it is signed, and negotiations cannot proceed without agents. Jones's apparent difficulty in making straightforward calls, much like his confusion over the 17-13 math problem, suggests a hesitance that could stem from wanting Parsons to feel the impact of Prescott's injury. Alternatively, it could indicate that Jones believes Parsons does not measure up to the likes of Watt, Crosby, or Garrett. Or perhaps he is simply acknowledging that he is not on the same level as owners like Art Rooney, Mark Davis, or Jimmy Haslam. We could interpret his statement, "I'm not the least concerned about having any dangling participles out here on a contract," as just another instance of late-game theatrics from the man who delayed Prescott's extension until September 8 last year. If he remains the same desperate to be seen as a football genius character at 82 that he was at 81, Jones will eventually reach out to Mulligeta to finalize the deal Parsons has rightfully earned. That deal will likely mirror those of Watt, Crosby, or Garrett. If Jones wishes to be perceived as a miserly owner like Cincinnati's Mike Brown or Tennessee's Amy Adams-Strunk, that is a choice he can make. However, perhaps the most significant takeaway from this ongoing public back and forth is that it has granted Jones a couple more days of attention, shining a light on a team that has been somewhat overlooked for the past 30 years. And that, above all, is where Jones truly excels. Micah Parsons holds out. Cowboys star skips practice amid contract negotiations, NFL news. Imagine this, Micah Parsons, the Cowboys' formidable edge rusher, is conspicuously absent from practice for the second day in a row in Oxnard, California. But here's where it gets controversial. On Wednesday, Parsons remained a spectator, not joining his teammates on the field. The previous day, he clarified that his absence wasn't due to a hold-in, but rather because of back tightness. Interestingly, he and fellow player Trayvon Diggs playfully hinted that heavy squats might be the underlying issue. What's more, Parsons isn't even participating in rehab exercises. Instead, he's been spotted standing with the defensive lineman, helmet in hand, as reported by Joseph Hoyt of the Dallas Morning News. But this is the part most people miss. Parsons is unlikely to fully engage in practice until he secures a contract extension. He revealed that the Cowboys have not responded to his agent's phone call, indicating stalled negotiations. Parsons became eligible for a contract extension after the 2023 season. He's now entering the final year of his rookie deal, set to earn $24 million on the fifth-year option. He expressed frustration that other top edge rushers like T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, and Max Crosby received extensions this offseason, while he's left waiting. "I feel like I'm the best at what I do," Parsons stated confidently on Tuesday. You can argue whoever, but stats, numbers don't lie. The consistency is there, and the availability is there. At 26, Parsons has amassed 52.5 sacks in his career, earning All-Pro honors twice and making the Pro Bowl in all 4 seasons. So, what do you think? Is Parsons justified in his stance, or should he be more patient with the Cowboys? Share your thoughts in the comments. Cowboys training camp, George Pickens shines in first practice with Dak Prescott. In the world of football, first impressions can be everything, and the early signs from training camp are already stirring excitement. Oxnard, California, during the initial practice sessions, it was evident that new Dallas Cowboys wide receiver George Pickens and quarterback Dak Prescott were still working on their chemistry. This is completely normal at this stage, as they are just beginning to build their rapport. These early miscommunications are expected to be ironed out as they continue to practice together throughout training camp. However, it wasn't all about the hiccups. There were moments when the duo showcased their potential, giving fans a glimpse of what could be a dynamic partnership. For instance, Prescott successfully connected with Pickens on a rollout pass over the middle, demonstrating their ability to work together effectively. Additionally, there was an impressive throw to the far sideline where Pickens displayed his speed and agility, taking off like a rocket after the catch. In this ongoing Pick 6 series, we will provide a summary of the most significant highlights from each day of training camp. This includes insights from practice sessions, press conferences, and other noteworthy events. Today, we particularly focus on standout performances from Marshawn Nyland, the competition for the backup quarterback position, and much more. But here's where it gets controversial. As the training camp progresses, how will the dynamics of the team evolve? Will Pickens and Prescott find their rhythm, or will the pressure of competition lead to unexpected challenges? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the Cowboys have what it takes to build a strong offense this season?